What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube channel again. I'm sure you probably saw that I did this freak challenge on our Instagram page. I just wanted to break it down and let you guys know a little bit about it and the why I kind of wanted to do it, how I thought about it, and what I did for training in case you want to try it, because I think it is a really good test of overall athletic ability. So I just kind of thought about it like, they do this Murph challenge where it's something where, anybody can do it. It's just more of a mental test. Obviously, you have to get in really good shape, but it's not a million reps. And I wanted to kind of create something for high-level athletes that a lot of people think they might be a high-level athlete, and this test right here will humble you really quickly. When you get to the upper echelon of some like bench press, the 315 isn't really a ton of weight, but it's just a benchmark. Running a mile. My original goal is to run a mile in under 5 minutes, and I learned really quickly that it's very, very fast to do that. I thought because I was fast and athletic, I thought, I'll just be able to bang this mile out. And I started off, my first mile I ran in training about 4 months ago was like 5:40. And I trained extremely hard because that was by far the hardest one for me, was the mile. I had to put so much time in. There were times where I ran twice a day. When I was on vacation, I've literally trained every single day, almost every single day for that running challenge. I would say in the last 4 months, if there's 120 days, I probably ran or did some sort of conditioning on 115 days. Took a lot of time, and then the dunk thing. Dunking has always come pretty easy to me. I've always been pretty powerful. I've always had I've just always been able to dunk well. I think dunking is an art too. I think if you learn how to do it at a young age, you practice it, and it becomes something that you can always do just because your steps leading up to dunking, the mobility in your ankles, the strength in your ankles and your knees and your hips, and just being an athlete with a rhythm, I think that translates over to being a good dunker. So that's kind of the way I thought about it. I just thought I want to create a test of 3 things that encompasses all the aspects of being a good athlete. So you think about a good athlete, they're powerful. Okay, that's what everyone wants to be, is powerful. You want to be able to really tackle someone hard. You want to be able to dunk on somebody. You want to be able to hit a baseball far, hit a golf ball far. That's all power. So that's what we strive to improve in athletes. So the first one I thought was, dunk a basketball. Now I know you're going to say, well, Terry, you're 6'2", 6'3". It's dunking a basketball isn't that hard for someone of your height. Well, it actually is. I think unless you're like 6'6", dunking everyone that tall should be able to dunk. To be honest with you, I don't really know that many people who can dunk, especially as well as I can dunk, that are the same height as me. It's a lot of power. Like I said, and as you get older, especially, you lose a lot of that power because your fast twitch muscle fiber literally almost just turns a slow twitch if you don't use it for a long period of time. So I've always tried to make it a point to do powerful stuff so I can keep that ability that I've always had. So obviously power. And then I thought of strength. Okay, what could I do to measure strength against other people? So I thought, we could have just squatted. I don't know. I just did bench press because the other 2 are lower body, and I wanted to do something upper body. I think pull-ups are probably a better test, but bench press, everyone likes to bench press, so I figured, I'll bench press. I bench press 315. I've always been around there in my life, maxing around there. I definitely had to train to stay strong through all this. It was one of the hardest things for me because I was losing weight from running so much. Definitely losing power because you're doing so much running that it's very hard to train all of these things at the same time. So I thought the bench press was a good mark. And you could say, well, you're 6'2", 6'3". It's easy to dunk. Well, when you look on bench press, it's harder for me to bench press considering I am taller. My arms are extremely long, and I did this at a weight at like 200 pounds. So I'm not really that heavy at this point. I actually lost about 20 pounds during this training because I've had to run so much. So that was the strength aspect. Then I thought, what can I do for endurance? I thought about doing a 5K, something like that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try to run a mile as fast as I can. Like I said, I started about 5:40, and I trained insane for this. I can't overemphasize how hard the running was for me. Just because like I referenced earlier, I'm a pretty powerful athlete. I've always jumped high, ran fast. I've been pretty explosive in my sports that I've played. I really underestimated how hard it would be to get my mile time down. It took me, like I said, 4 months of very, very hard training. I ran outside. I ran up to 8 miles in distance. I did intervals. I did tempos. I did mile repeats, 400 repeats, 800s. I did 40s. I did incline. I did decline. I actually wrote a running program. If you guys want it, you can let me know, and I can share it with you how I got to this point. It was extremely hard. I think throughout all this, I think I've become a tougher person from doing this. I noticed myself being tougher on athletes because I've been going through this myself. And I think that it changed my life really because of how this running. The running is completely something that I've never done, and it completely altered my mind state, because when you're running this much, if you're running 7-8 miles and you're running at a fast pace, it's hell the entire time. There were points when I ran to develop my mental toughness. When I first started, I was a baby. I would run 2 miles and I would want to walk. I would listen to my favorite songs, and I got to the point where I was a couple months in where I started to make it harder. I started wearing a training mask to alter my breathing a little bit. Then I would purposely untie my shoes and I would run, because it would be annoying to have untied shoes, and I would teach myself, you have to get through it. I would listen to songs I absolutely hated for long periods of time, just to teach myself how to be more mentally tough. Whenever I did my mile at 5:12, I got up in the morning and I didn't realize that I didn't charge my phone the night before. So when I got to the track, I had all my music lined up. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to run a mile really fast. I was warming up to music, and my phone died. So I thought to myself, oh shit, my phone died. How am I going to do this with no music? But I was ready to go because of all the training that I went through. My music was irrelevant at that point. I went to the track. I ran 4 times around the track, old school with a clock. I hit the clock and it was over. And I think that throughout all the training, I would have never been able to do that. I ran my mile, it was pitch black, 6:30 in the morning. There was so much fog I could barely see, and I was perfectly fine with it. And I think it was because I went through hell. I had to eat better. I had to lose weight. I normally don't watch what I eat, but I had to, because I couldn't run a mile fast at 220 pounds. So that took a lot of discipline on my end. The flexibility, the mobility, all the running form stuff that I did just over and over again, pretty much every day. The Slippery Rock guys watching this, I did our conditioning on Sundays, sled pushes every Sundays with the team to make myself be able to push through. So when I knew my guys were there watching me, I wouldn't dog it, because I did this training pretty much all by myself. I had really nobody to push me during it, and so I had no choice but to get more mentally tough and to push myself past the point of exhaustion. There were plenty of times where I was on the side of the road puking, getting ready to puke, gagging when I was running. There were plenty of times where I was completely destroyed on the treadmill and I had to run, a quarter mile more. And those are the points where I thought, okay, like you hear those videos, what's your why? I would think, well, my why is myself, just not wanting to give up, not wanting to, when you set a goal, getting to the goal and not letting yourself down. And I think a lot of people don't really do that when they train. They just train. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a test, if you don't have something, a bigger picture, you're going to give up. You're running on a treadmill and you're tired, you're going to give up. The running is the main thing, because the bench press, you can throw on a song, you get hyped up, and you can bench press probably more than you could have the other day. You can maybe dunk if you're feeling it that day. The running ain't like that. The running is going to put you in your place. I think that's one thing I really learned and I value now is distance runners, what they go through. And I personally became a way better trainer because of the running that I did and the time that I put in on those roads with nobody else there. I got to the point where I was comfortable running for long distances I mean, I would just take my mind off everything and I would just run. And I think that from now that I did that, I'm going to always run because of this. Now, I don't necessarily like running. Like some people are like, oh, you're going to love running now. You're going to do 5Ks. I'm not probably going to do that. I might do it to stay competitive, to have a goal. But I'm always going to do some sort of running because I think it made me a lot tougher. And I already feel it makes me, it makes me want to work when I start getting tired, whenever it's whatever I'm training people, whatever I'm doing. If it's cold outside and I'm on the sideline of a football game and I did all this training, I think to myself, you've been through a lot worse than this. You push yourself a lot worse than this. Just suck it up, dude. And it's really translated to different aspects of my life too. Other than that, guys, listen, if you're going to do this, please no excuses. I'm 32 years old. I'm getting older now. I'm losing power. I'm losing speed. I'm losing strength. It doesn't matter how tall you are. Don't say, oh, I'm too short to dunk. Well, if you're too short to dunk, you're probably going to be better on the bench press. That's usually how that translates over. So it's a trade-off. Or you can't palm a ball, then dunk it with two hands. There's really no excuses. I mean, this isn't for the faint of heart, this challenge. I personally don't know if I know anybody else who can do this challenge. I've trained a lot of high-level athletes, and I'm sure some of the NFL guys we've trained might be able to do this, but the running the mile that fast will destroy people. There's a lot of people who can dunk. There's a lot of good athletes who can dunk and bench press because they're powerful, but the running is completely different. And then on the other side, if you're a cross-country runner, you might think 5'12" really isn't that fast. It's really not that fast. It's fast on the grand scheme of things, but not maybe for you guys. But good luck on the bench press then. If you weigh 120 pounds or 140 pounds, good luck trying to dunk then. So it kind of encompasses everything. I do think it benefits taller athletes because it makes the dunking easier. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's really no excuse. If you want to try this, you have to put in a lot of time. It's pretty fulfilling to know that I did this. And now I can, refer other athletes to do it, and it's something to motivate you instead of just doing aimless 1,000 pull-ups or running a 5K. It's just something more athletic that you can try. That's why we called it the Freak Challenge. You got to be able to be a freak to be able to do all three of these. Sorry for talking your ear off. I just wanted to let you guys know how everything went down, how it all happened, the time that I put in, and wish you guys luck if you try it. If you do, message me and I'll send you a t-shirt if you do it. All right, guys, have a good day.